Well, we are continuing with example 2. So in this example, we'll be looking at the difference of two squares. We'll be looking at the difference of two squares. Then how do we then go about factorizing these 5 questions here? Okay, so let me firstly just try to ignite your cerebrum that what do I mean by the difference of two squares? What does that mean? Okay, so now let's look at the first one, which is x squared minus 25. So we want to factorize this part, right? Now whenever we talk about the difference of two squares, it's whereby we're going to look out the factors of 25. And the factors of 25, those two numbers, they must be the same. So that when you subtract those two numbers, they must give you 0. That's what the meaning of the difference of two squares. For example, for us to get 25, what are the factors of 25? So it should be 5 times 5, which is equal to 25. Okay, so maybe you can also use 25 times 1. It is 25. But 25 times 1, it is not the difference of two squares. 25 times 1. The difference of two squares, it's whereby you take the two numbers that are the same, so that when you subtract them, they must give you what? 0. So that means we're going to look at this one, which is 5 times 5. Okay, 5 times 5 is 25. Then now let's try to subtract them together, and then they must give us 0. Let's check that. So we're going to use positive 5 minus 5. Remember, the other one is positive. Then when you say 5 minus 5, it's going to give us 0. So that means this is the meaning of the difference of two squares. You take the two numbers, the two factors, which are the same, and then when you subtract them together, they must give you 0. That is the meaning of the difference of two squares. Simple as that. Now let's try to factorize this one now over here. So I'm going to write a is equal to, and then we open the brackets, we close, and then we open and we close. And then now we say for us to get x squared, we simply write x and x, knowing that x times x is going to be x squared. Then now we need to look at this one, because we have what? 25 here. So for us to get 25, we need to write 5 here, and we need to write 5 here. And the other one must be negative, and the other one must be positive. So remember, the signs must be different if now we want to subtract them together. Now we can quickly prove this one, that if we multiply these terms and then we subtract the like terms, and then we want to see that are we going to end up having this, right? So let's quickly check that here aside. X times x is x squared. I'm saying x times x, which is x squared. Now I'm going to say x times 5, which is plus 5x. And then I'm going to say 5 times x, which is negative 5x. And then I'm going to say negative 5 times positive 5, which is negative times positive minus 5 times 5 is 25. Then now let's look at these two factors. That 5 minus 5, remember, when the signs are not the same, we separate. Then 5 minus 5 definitely is going to give us what? 0. So we're going to end up having x squared, which is this one, and that minus 25. Then it is factorized. So that means these two factors are 100% correct. So we can just wrap this. So this is our answer. So you just stop here, guys. Remember, you were not solving for x, but you were just asked to factorize that sum over here. So we simply take number 2 and then we do the same. So number 2 here we have x squared minus 49, and then also you are going to look at only two numbers that when you multiply them together they must give you 49. But don't forget that whenever you are doing a difference of two squares, you must take the same numbers, same factors. They must be the same, whether it's 5 or 7 or 6 or 9 so on. Let's look at this one. So it's going to be x squared, or sorry, it's going to be open brackets and we close, so it's going to be x here. Then for us to get 49 is going to be 7 times 7. 7 times 7 is 49. Remember, the other one must be minus, and the other one it is positive. Okay, so maybe we can also quickly look at this one, but definitely it's going to give us x squared minus 49. Okay, so that is x times x is going to be x squared, and then x times 7 is going to be plus 7x, and then negative 7 times x is going to be minus 7x, and 7 times 7 is going to be negative 49. Then when we add like terms, 7 minus 7 is going to be naught, and then therefore x squared minus 49. This is what we were factorizing here. So that means our factors are 100% correct. So you simply stop here, guys, right? Remember, you were not solving for x, but you were just factorizing. Okay, so simple as that. Now let's look at the third one. Let's look at the third one. That how do we then go about solving the third one? And then number 3. So number 3 we're having what, 64 x to the power 4 and minus 49 y to the power 2. Let me just check that. Did I copy this question correct? Oh yes. Oh yes. This must be a squared, not 4. Sorry, this must be a x to the power 2 and then x to the power 2 here. Okay, remember this is a difference of 2 squared. So difference of square must be squared and squared on the other side. Okay, so what will be the factors of 64 and 49? Remember, we've just calculated 49 here by taking 7 and 7. So same here, for us to get this 49 we're going to use 7 and 7, but for 64 we're going to use 8 times 8, which is 64. So here it's going to be x, 8x and 8x. So 8x times 8x, 64x squared, right? And then for this one, 49 is going to be 7y and 7y. So 7 times 7, 49. Y times y, y squared. 8 times 8, 64. X times x, x squared. The other side must be negative, other one must be positive. Remember, guys, whenever you are dealing with a difference of 2 squared, the signs are always different, so are not the same. So it could be positive on this side and negative, or it could be negative and positive. It doesn't really matter. Okay, but as long as the signs are not the same, and then, guys, it is we are done here. Right, so now let's look at the fourth one as well as the last part. Wonderful. Now here, guys, we want to factorize this part, but yeah, if you can check in this term here there is 2, and this term as well there is also 2. So that means 2 up here the most. So that means 2, we're going to take 2 as the highest common factor first. Okay, so it's going to be is equal to 2, and we open brackets, a to the power 4, so to the power 8 minus b to the power 8, and we close brackets. So this is our first step here. Okay, so now we need to factorize here what is inside the brackets. So now let's just say 2 and then open brackets, close and open, and we close. So for us to get a to the power 8, so it's going to be a to the power 4 and a to the power 4. And then for us to get b to the power 8, so it's going to be b to the power 4 and b to the power 4. And remember guys, the other side must be negative and the other one must be positive. Why? Because we're dealing with a difference of two squares. Right. Then here, but guys, bear in mind that these brackets here, over here, this is a difference of two squared because you are having a variable and our exponent which is 4 and another variable, our exponent which is 4. So if now having the same exponent, so that means it is a difference of two squares and having the minus sign here right in the middle. Okay, so now we simply here by saying 2 into must be a and then squared, and then let me just open the brackets and close and open and close, and then we copy this portion here as it is. It's going to be a to the power 4 plus b to the power 4, and then for us to factorize this portion, it's going to be a squared and a squared, because a squared times a squared is going to be a to the power 4, and b squared and b squared. Other side must be minus, other must be positive. Again, guys, we're not yet done. This one, it is a difference of two squares. So again, we need to factorize this one. This one, it is not. Why? Because it is positive sign. So if we're having positive sign, when we subtract the two terms, we're not going to get 0. In fact, positive means addition. So negative means subtraction. So we have to go further by factorizing these brackets here. So 2 and open and close and open and close and open and close and open and close. So these brackets for these terms, these two terms here plus b to the power 4, and these brackets for these two terms here, a squared plus b to the power 2. And then now these two brackets is for this one, so it must be a here and a here, b and b, minus and plus. And then now we are done. We are done. This one, it is factorized now. Simple as that. Now let's look at the last one. Guys, please do not be confused whenever you are seeing this 2x plus y all squared. This is just treat these brackets as a one term, okay, and as well as this one. Now we want to factorize this, and remember this is also under the difference of two squares. So what are we going to do here is that basically we're going to open the square brackets below. We have the smaller brackets here or the round brackets. Square and square and square. So we're going to have 2x plus y, close brackets, and we have 2x plus y, close brackets. This is one term, this is a one term. And for us to get y, it's going to be y and y. So it's going to be negative and positive. So we are done now. Simple. It's easy like eating chocolate. Right. Thank you. Wonderful. Now we are continuing with example 3. And in example 3, we'll be looking at factorization by grouping. We factorize by grouping. Now we're going to demonstrate that by factorizing these three questions here. Now let's take the first one as an example and then we work it out. Now when we factorize by grouping, So basically what do we do? Yeah, you simply look at the terms that look the same. For example, so when we factorize by grouping, so we're going to group ax plus 3a together. Why? Because this term here, it has a, and this one has a as well. So that means these ones are the same. And then we also group the last two terms together. Okay. Now, how do you see that this is a, now you have to factorize by grouping? You can see that by looking at the four terms. So we'll be now we'll be having four terms. So that means if you're having four terms, so therefore it is a grouping. So you have to factorize by grouping. Now let's look at this one. So we're going to group together ax plus 3a and you close brackets. Guys, I want you to watch this carefully. That now whenever you are doing grouping, please make sure that you always put the addition sign between these two brackets and you put the last two terms with their signs inside the brackets. This one, it is positive 2x, and then that one, it is plus 6. Simple as that. Why am I writing positive sign here? I know that positive sign won't change anything. It's because that I want you to remember when it is negative, when this term it is negative, so that you won't forget, because that negative, it will affect this term. Okay, now here, what do we do here? So what are we going to do here is that, so we're going to make these two brackets be the same. Our target is to make these two brackets be the same. Now let's look at the first one. So what is common here inside the brackets? You see, in this term there is a, in this term there is a as well. So I think you will agree with me that a here, it is common. So we take it out. You see? Then now we have what? Ax plus 3 in these brackets. So now let's go over in this one. So there is a plus sign here. So here we're going to take out 2 as a common factor. So here there must be 2 into x plus 3, because 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 3 is 6, 8 times x is ax, 8 times 3 is 3a. So now these two brackets, they look the same. These two brackets, they look the same. So that means, what do you do then? You simply take only their coefficients, which is 2, and here it is a, and then you group them together, and then you just take one bracket. If these two brackets are the same, then you take their coefficient, each coefficient, okay, and then you group them together. Now let's say here we're going to have a plus 2. You see that 2, it is positive, that 8 is positive. So you group their coefficient together like this one. Then you just take one bracket here because they are the same. So, and then must be x plus 3. Please don't put a plus sign now. Okay. So now we are done. It is factorized. Okay. So simple as that. Then now let's look at number 2. Let's look at number 2. In number 2, I have in 2x squared plus 4xy minus 3xy minus 6y squared. So now let's try to factorize this one together. How do we then go about factorizing this one together? Now, what are we going to do here is that, so this one as well here is simply, because if now you can check that there's 2x squared plus 4xy, and there's x, so they common. So here there's 3xy minus 6y squared. So, and there's a y and there's a y. So that means these two terms are common with y, and these two terms are common with x. So we can factorize these two terms together and these ones together as well. Now let's go and see. So it's going to be 2x squared plus 4xy, we close bracket. Remember I said right in the middle you must write plus sign always, and then you open the last bracket, and then you write these two terms with their signs. So there is minus x 3xy minus 6y squared. Simple as that. And then now from there, now you check what is common in the first bracket and also what is common in the second brackets or the last one. Then now we need to take out the common factor in the first bracket. So we need to take out the common factor in the first bracket. Now if you can check that in the first bracket, x is common. You can find x here, you can find x here. So therefore x it is common. And we can also take out 2, because 2, we also have 2 here in 4, right? So that means it's going to be 2x into x. Now we're going to just write 1x here because 1x is already taken out. So it's going to be x and then plus, and then you have, if now we have taken 2 out, so here we have 2, so that means must be 2 y and close brackets. So I'm not going to write x here, y, because x is already taken out as a common factor. Then now let's look at this one, that what do we do here? Now here we're going to take out here 3 and 3y, not just 3 but 3y. So we're going to take out negative 3y as a common factor. And then here inside, remember this is negative, right? This is negative. So for us to get that is that negative here, so we need to write this number over here as positive, knowing that negative times positive is going to give us negative. So here the sign here must be positive. So remember in this term we have already taken out 3x. So that means here we must have what? Y. So that means we must have x. So this is gonna be x. And then now also we want to get this one as negative. So that means we must write this one as positive. So remember 3 has been taken out. And then so we're gonna have what? 2, because 3 times 2 is 6. And then y, 1y is out. So we're left with 1y inside the brackets. So here we have x plus 2y and x plus 2y. These two brackets are look the same. So what do we do then? And then we do like we did in the first question. We take their coefficients and then we group them together. Their coefficient, we group them together. So it's going to be 2x minus 3y. Simple as that. These are the what? 2 terms, which are the coefficients of each bracket. And then you open the brackets, then you just take one bracket because they're the same, which is x plus 2y. Then it is factorized. Simple as that. Then now let's look at the last one, which is number 3. Now we have x, we have a to the power 3 and minus 4 a squared and minus 4a plus 16. So we want to factorize this one by grouping. Then here what we're gonna do here is that, so these two terms they share the same value, which is a. Okay, so we're going to group these ones together and we group the last ones together. And also if you want, you can also group 4a squared and 4a, these two together, and the first one and the last one together, either way. Okay, so now let's take these two ones together. So it's going to be a to the power 3 minus 4a squared, and you close brackets. Guys, when you factorize by grouping, you first take the two terms, okay, that they share the same variable or number, then you group them together. You just write them as they are inside the brackets first. That is the first step. And then you always write the plus sign, and then we take the last one with their signs, minus 4a plus 16. And then now let's check what is common in the first bracket. So there's a here. How many a's we have? 3 a's. And then how many a's here? 2 a's. So that means we can take a squared out as a common factor. And now that we were having 3, 2 is out already, so that means we're going to have 1a inside, minus 4, because squared is out already. And then we check that how do we do in the last one as well. So the last one must be 16. So you must take 4 out as a common factor, negative 4 out as a common factor, minus 4, and open brackets. You must have a, because for us to get negative here, we should write this one as positive. That one, it is positive, then we must write negative. Remember, negative times negative, positive. So 4 times 4, 4 times 4, 16. So now if you can check, these two brackets are the same. If these two brackets are the same, then you simply take their coefficient, which is minus 4 and a squared. You see? And then you just group them together. So here it's going to be ax squared minus 4. And then here you just take one bracket because they're the same, which is a minus 4. Simple as that. Guys, so yeah, we're not yet done because of this one. If you can check, this is a difference of 2 squares, so we cannot leave this one like that. So we must just little bit work it out. So these two brackets, we're going to factorize this one. So this brackets for, that is the last one. So a times a, which is a squared. For us to get 4, 2 times 2, this is a bracket, and the other one must be negative, the other one must be positive. So now it is completely factorized. Please don't forget to subscribe for more videos and leave a comment as well. Thank you so much.